I'm Chris Summer, and in this video I'll be going through my process of how I paint the detailed body section of this feather. And my main technique really is to put down darker tones and then overlay them with some lighter glazes or lighter paint over the top, so that the dark tone shows through. The thing with the feather is that the detail, there's a lot of detail in this section, but in terms of the tonal variance between that detail, there's very little shift in tone. So creating a lot of detail while keeping the tones true so that it doesn't feel sharp and overdrawn or over painted, so that it still feels soft and fluffy. That layering lighter paint over the top to reduce contrast is a really good way of doing that. So after I've done this glaze, I'll go back over and redo basically the layer that I've just done, put in the dark gaps, put in the highlights over the top, and every time that I do that through those layers, those tones just get softer and softer, and then I can start to introduce the detail in after that, in between. If you're enjoying watching this video, please subscribe or head to my website and sign up to my email newsletter, so you can see how thin this glaze is and that detail, those darker lines, are showing through. And so as the glaze dries, that they will be even more visible, which you'll see as it transitions. But the other thing this glaze is doing is I'm actually building the form of the feather, just creating that round, subtle shadow coming in towards the bottom, which obviously, if you're painting the fine detail straight off the bat, creating that subtle shift is very challenging, and so it's much easier to create the shape of that form first before adding the detail in. So as you can see, these tones are much softer now relative to each other once we get to this stage. And once I get to the final detail layer, I will, as I go through this, keep another brush in my hand, and I will put one final glaze over those darker shadows you can see, or those sort of the darker bits in between. You can see how light and subtle they are now, and so sometimes I'll put another glaze or two over those to stay within the shape of that form and to really reduce that contrast. And so this is how that section has come out once the whole part is completed. So I finished this whole left hand side of the feather, and I'm going to move on to the right hand side of the body, and then this work will be done.